This is Brother Carter with Tasteful and Toxic. I also have my lovely wife with me,
Val.
Hey, Val. Be sure and tune in to us every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m.
Don't sleep on us, baby. Get up, get your coffee. Tune in.
We love you. God bless you. We'll see you Wednesday. All right. Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Tasteful and Toxic with your main man, Brother Carter, Mr. CLC, all of those different things. That's what I be. Yes, sir. And yes, ma'am. I have on the show today. That's what I'm trying to say.
There you go.
Of course, I have Mr. Ricky Getwood on the show today.
Yeah.
Let's give him a hand clap, please.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on to the show
I'm
today.
glad to be
Ricky.
here.
All
Super
right.
glad to be here.
Could you introduce yourself while we're at it and tell the people a little bit about yourself, if you will?
Absolutely. My name is Ricky Getwood Jr., originally from Port Arthur, Texas. I am a life, health, and success coach. I specialize in helping your mind and body get right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like that.
I'm glad you're here for this segment
Absolutely.
here because we're going to talk about getting your mind and body right today.
It's my specialty.
Yes, and we also have the lovely one, the vivacious one, the very beautiful one, my wife, Miss Val.
Hey. I love Tasteful and Toxic. I'm feeling so tasteful.
You feeling tasteful
I'm
today?
feeling tasteful today.
Well, today is going to be a serious subject today.
Mm-hmm.
And, I hope we don't stay on it too long. We also have our two co-hosts on the show today,
Hello,
Miss
everyone.
Aaron.
Hey, thank you
and
for having
Miss
us.
Diamond. They're going to be the engineers behind the show today, but they're going to also participate in the show today.
All righty then.
And so on today's show, we're looking at what's going on in the world today. And I see that suicide is at an all-time high. People are just unaliving themselves because of what's going on mentally, because of what's circumstances in front of them. And so on today's show, we want to find out, what can you do when it seems like there's no hope? What can you do?
What should you do or what can you do?
What can you do?
Okay.
When it seems like there's no hope? Because there's always hope. And I hope that you would get something out of today's show that will help you keep yourself
I like that.
just a little bit longer. It's not all over when circumstances come into your life. So, Ricky, what you think about the conversation here today we're about to embark upon?
Well, number one, thank you for opening up that door.
Mhm.
I know a lot of people don't like to talk about that.
Yeah.
We like to avoid the obvious feelings. And I always say, when you tap into your emotions, you need to tap into all of your emotions.
That's right.
Not
Mhm.
just your happy emotions, not just your circumstantial emotions. Like, we have dark days and we have really good days as well too. The dark days is when, again, you do want to unalive yourself and you're like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing
Mhm.
else to do. My thing is this: be okay with where you are, decide where you want to go, understand your strengths, and then work slowly towards where you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get to that point, like, I've been there,
Mhm.
and y'all have heard me several times talk about it. I got to a point in my life where I was like, hi, I'm either going to take myself out or I'm going to become the best version of myself.
Wow.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I decided, like, no, screw that. I'm not going to just go. That's too easy.
Yeah.
And I'm very careful, as a disclaimer. We're not therapists. We're not
Right.
go if you need
Well,
help, go get
I
help.
thought you were qualified. I thought you was licensed in that area.
Well, he
Yeah,
is qualified.
Yes, I
because
know
he
you're
lived
qualified.
and
Right,
walked it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
No,
he's saying is he's not like the
I'm not-
licensed counselor.
I'm not
Right.
sure. Licensed
So like he
counselor.
can speak
And-
live,
and-
he can help you,
Yeah.
but he's not the professional.
Yeah, I'm not.
Doctor.
I'm not your
Yeah.
counselor to tell you what you. Because
Right.
everybody has different situations,
Mhm.
right?
And
But
so
my
we
thing-
need to put that disclaimer out
Yeah,
there that
yeah.
none of us are licensed therapists in this situation. We're just talking life
Yeah, we're just talking.
experiences.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I look at it like this: it's a-okay to say I don't feel okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's okay to say I don't feel okay. But now you have to decide, what can you do with what you have? It's just, I know it's very trivial, but it's so true. It's just like exercising and working out, right? You can't go into the gym and bench press 400 pounds the first time.
Right.
You need to go in there and say, I'm going to lift 5 pounds.
Mhm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with your emotions, same thing with your mindset. You know what? I can't take on every single thing,
Mhm.
but what I can handle is this little bit. Maybe just get up and fix my bed.
Mhm.
I feel good. One small win a day.
Yes.
One small
I
win a day.
love that.
Keep doing it over and over and over and over. And now you're reprogramming your brain to look at every small situation as a win.
Mhm.
Instead of like everything is detrimental, everything sucks. It's like, no. I woke up, I fixed my bed. I woke up, I showered. I got in my car. I made it to work. Man, you keep programming your brain for these small wins over and over and over. And before you know it, you're like, I actually feel good about myself. Now I don't want to take myself out, you know, instead of comparing yourself to
I want to ask the young people over there on the set today. You know, you guys are young people, and suicide rate is very high amongst young people. And y'all both just coming out of school and whatever, something like that. Have you heard this situation? Have you heard about suicide, or you know someone that?
You want to take it first?
Yeah, it's very prominent, especially like with social media. A lot of people or people that's my age,
And how old are you?
I'm 24.
Okay, yeah.
But just as growing up, the way what is the word that I'm looking for? The way social media portrays itself is people feel like they have to compare themselves or they're not good enough. Oh, they see such and such just bought a new house or a new car. Oh, I'm not in that place, or maybe they start to question whether or not if they're valuable enough or if they're, worthy enough, because they're seeing, all these different things online.
But they have no idea what that person is doing to get what they have, or if it even is real.
Yes.
Yes, because they're showing you what they want you to see. You don't know the struggle.
But I just want to tap into the mindset and the thought process of the people that are going through stuff like that.
Well, and so this is my take on it. So I want to say it was about like 2013 or 2014 when there was some really big report that came out that's like just all of a sudden, like these teenagers, like, it is just spiking, right? Like the idea of like wanting to unalive yourself, right? So this is what I would say to that. I think it's more prominent among younger people because what social media and that whole world of everything introduces, it's not just it's the highlights of your life or the worst or just the algorithm in and of itself. It's also the idea that we are not, like, our brains are not developmentally ready for that kind of influx. And that's not even including the addictive nature of social media, right? And it's really sad because these are, I would say this, I think there's a shift in how younger people want to go about social media. Like, it used to be kind of this idea in the sense of like, oh, like, you're going to tell your kids no social media. Like, you're that's dumb. I mean, it's everywhere. It's a tool. You may as well learn how to use it. Right. But like our generation, because I'm also 24, our generation, I think we're kind of seeing the fruits of that. And as the front of Gen Z, we're sitting here saying like, no, we actually we lived through all this. So we can't really put that on our parents because that was new to them as well.
Yeah.
So I think there's this more there's this better awareness of like, okay, we really do have to put limits, and it's not bad to say that. It's almost, it's like growing up, social media was kind of more
So
of this
are we
right.
putting this all on social media? That
I feel like it has a major part.
Yeah.
It's multifaceted, and social media, it's almost like the digital town square, right? You know, like before social media, it's like you had to go to the bulletin. You had to physically meet up in these spaces. Social media just makes it accessible to everybody, but what's out there is dependent upon each platform.
Yeah, because I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and this is something I just never heard of.
Because it wasn't there.
You know, you got bullied, you just get back up the next day and you got to go face the bully again.
Right.
You know, the thought of just unaliving myself because the bully bullying me, that just, it just wasn't a thought.
It's
so different now. I'm sorry. It's so different now because it's constant. At least when we were coming up, we were able to shut it down when we got in our safe haven. They bring this negativity right everywhere they take their phone. It's following them because as soon as they turn their phone on, it's still there. It's still facing them. And so that's where the difference is in our era. It was not present with us. We did have a spot that we can go and kind of separate ourselves from.
And I think one of the biggest things is this, and it's obviously there's studies on this stuff now, right? That we say social media, but it's not really social media. It's actually digital media, right? You actually don't have any social interaction to learn how to deal with people one-on-one. Right? So we can sit here and have a conversation. I could read your body language. I can determine how I'm feeling. But if you give me 15 seconds of your entire life, I have to base my thought process on my ability to pick up on 15 seconds of your entire life. And now I'm judging 15 seconds of my clip, right? And so now I'm left with all my emotional imbalances, all my emotional
insecurities and all those
things. So now it's like, take away the word social media. It's just
that.
digital media.
And I would even go like a
there is no communication taking place.
I could do this all day.
Yeah.
Real good. I like that a lot.
I would even go a step further though. Like, it's not like just like the social media aspect, right? It's also this idea of like learning how to navigate the digital landscape, right? But building up people, kind of like what you were saying, Brother Carter, how it's like, oh, you just got bullied, you worked through it, right? So obviously the goal is not to bully people, and it's like, okay, we want to like teach people how not to do that, right? But there's also that sense of, if you protect your kids from everything possible, then when they have those anxieties when they're older, it's about different things. So it's like, I didn't learn how to navigate being bullied because I was never bullied, because we were all on our phones and just whatever. It just was never a thing, right? So when you enter like the workplace or you enter college and you're met with those same types of situations because you didn't work through them when you were younger, right? It comes out even more in like a quote unquote like smaller capacity of what was causing you to feel.
So when you're in school, do you not have social activities that take place where you have to encounter building your social skills in school?
Well, it's different.
You want to take a
like that.
It's a question.
I know that's a good question. That you have your social, but remember their whole social, how they look at, they're in such a bubble. And please correct me if I'm wrong. They're in a bubble because they're engaging with this phone. So now you're expecting a person that really don't talk to people. They're playing the games online, so they don't have.
That's why I'm asking: is there any social time in school?
But they don't feel good about themselves to even go engage with other people because they
even in school they're doing like this.
Yeah, they're still doing that.
Wow.
Yeah, I kind of want to say you, because I think like for me, when I was growing up, I kind of had that transitory period. Like about the time I got introduced to social media in like kind of like the technology and all that, I was more in like middle school, like high school, right? So what, like, do you think that has any impact, or
can y'all like I guess break it down more so I can understand
elaborate
what exactly y'all are asking?
So basically what they're trying to establish is the difference between being able to socially sit here and have a conversation, pick up on actual body language versus emotional texting and being able to interpret what that person's thinking and feeling.
Me personally, I feel like social media is an easier way for people to communicate, but it's not necessarily the best way, because me personally, in my experience, I can't read a person's body language or understand what they're trying to convey just through text messages. They could say one thing and it can mean 100 different things.
Right.
But it just depends on the person though.
Right.
I know, because I said something in an email and somebody thought I said something.
Right.
I was like, it's clear what I said right here. What do you? How did you get that? Gain that concept?
Right, and it's those different ways of communicating over time that because it's the things you grow up with that get embedded, right? And then you're an adult, you have to choose what to work on, because we all got stuff going.
Right, and then going back to your main point of people wanting to unalive themselves, when you consume yourself in a false reality, when you're faced with reality, you don't feel validated or you don't feel accepted, you don't feel like you're an actual human. So then you have this false reality and you can't take it.
Can't take it.
And now he's like, I don't know what to do. So
so what can we do? What can we say to people out there that may be faced with this situation?
I think we need more of this. We need to sit down and actually, that's why I'm doing my group coaching classes like right now. It's like, no, let's actually sit down and talk,
have a
together.
Conversation.
Let's go out in nature. Let's go work out together. Let's go, actually
go outside and touch some grass.
I mean, take your phone. I like to do retreats. I'm putting my own retreats together now. Like, look, we're gonna take a whole 6 weeks. Put your phones away. Let's actually learn how to talk, how to communicate, express yourself. That we learn how to deal with people, learn how to deal with yourself, and then learn how to deal with people. Now, basically, go back to what we talked about before. I think you have to fast track getting better. And then you go back into balancing social media. It's like, now I'll literally get on my phone maybe 2 hours out of the day.
That's it.
And I have everything programmed now, like send this email or whatever,
So Miss Val, what could you say to a young person out there that's having these thoughts?
I'm gonna say that your thoughts are
real.
Valid. It's real, but the decision you make based off of that thought can do one or two things. It can change your life, or it could stop So you have to know that what you're feeling right there in the moment, the emotion is just what it is. It's an emotion, and you're going to get past that. So find you a safe group. I like to say the village. You know, I have a village of people, and that village is not wide. It's not a lot of extra people. It's the people that's going to tell me the truth. And it's my safe place. So have your village that when you're feeling unbalanced or you're feeling like I just can't push, reach out to your village. Right. And if you're connected to your village is going to reach out to you.
Now, would you agree or disagree that post-pandemic allow people to have too much isolated time with themselves? These thoughts.
I think that I'm glad you brought that up because it actually gave permission. Pandemic gave permission to be by yourself, to not have to connect, not have to be, and we have to change that. That was just an era that we went through. That's not a state that we need to stay in.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who want to stay in that state. That's where they wanted to be.
That's where they wanted to be.
Yeah. I would say, and I do this in my own personal life, but I also have to be careful because I can replace like spending that like. So there's that pendulum. It's like, oh, the isolating. Sometimes you're not isolating. Sometimes you're just simply alone, right? That's because you're not filling your time with purposeful things, right? So for me, it's like my work week, like it's my work week, right? And then Fridays, I started volunteering at a place. And then Saturdays, if I'm not doing the radio, it's like, you know what? I'm going to go hang out with my friend because I need to touch base on whatever we're talking about, right? And then Sundays, I go to church. So I have a very full life in the sense of all the things that I do have purposeful and are meaningful, right?
That's good.
Now, if you're alone, it's like, okay, why are you alone? Well, I'm working on reading. I'm working on, building up those communication skills and that inner anxiety.
Still have a purpose while you're alone.
It's a purpose, right? So whatever it is that you do, I think you should have purpose behind it. And it is important. I will say though, it is important to have community. I don't care if it's a gaming community. I don't care if it's the church. A community is important because you're going to learn things from people that you can't, or not that you can't, but you won't learn as deep if you're by yourself because you only know what thoughts. You know.
There you go.
That's
Very
good.
good.
That's good. I mean, you have anything to add to? Take away?
I feel like it has to be a balance, like as far as not just isolating yourself from everyone, but sometimes you do need that downtime for yourself to, rebalance and ground yourself. So it's just about creating that balance.
And having people you actually trust to share these thoughts with. That's another. That could be a whole nother conversation. Right. Yeah. But if you don't have at least one person in your life to be able to say, I can call help, right? I would advocate have at least 3 or 4 because that's also a lot on that one person, right? But like, if you don't even feel you have a connection with people to have like those live conversations, then something's missing.
Yeah, I don't want that many people in my business. So.
It's not that they have to be in your business. It's that you trust them enough with that information. It's the bridge. It's not everything there. It's the bridge to know where to go.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm saying one thing, and I'm done. One thing I've learned about people, even myself, in my phase of not loving myself, when you don't love yourself enough, you don't want to be alone with yourself. And so it makes it hard when you like, I don't have anything to distract me from myself. So now it's like, I don't want to be here. I don't like this empty space of dealing with myself. So now it's like, okay, cool. I'm a-okay with the detoxing of being around people. So you do have to have that detox.
Gotta have
you know what I mean? Because I'm around enough people, and it's like, okay, cool. I need 5 hours.
But the flip side of that is for the people that never want to be around someone else, because that's something else going on with you. Because you got to connect. God did not create us to not have human connection and touch. So you got to be around them.
And when you fake it's hard you get exhausted quicker.
Yes.
Like go back to that. Like when you're like pretending to be somebody else and you're around a bunch of people and you got to keep up at a facade, it's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
So that's why I'd be like, no, I'm just gonna be myself. I don't care.
There you go.
That part. Yeah.
All righty then.
And so we're gonna have our final words and comments at this point, because at the end of the day, we're all God's children, and we all have a place in the kingdom of God. In spite of our sins or whatever we've done or committed in our lives, Jesus died on the cross in spite of that. And so he openly died on the cross to save us from ourselves, should I say, in lack of other words. Mm-hmm. And so don't ever give up. Don't ever give in to those negative thoughts and feelings and all these different things that come about us. Mm-hmm. You know, it's okay. It's okay to have those thoughts, and they come, they real to you. But snap yourself out of it as soon as you possibly can, because it can be detrimental to and finalizing for your life. So, you know, anyone have any final words?
I do. I want to go ahead and say that emotion I talked about on another show about being so emotional in something that you can't even see your way out of something. Mm-hmm. So don't be so wrapped up in the emotion of what's happening right then, because that's just what's happening right then. Connect yourself with the village. Make sure you're constantly doing this thing of repurging and reinventing yourself. I don't mean to change yourself, but growing. Right. Because if you're sitting in this box by yourself all the time, you're telling yourself those same thoughts. And nothing is going to change because you spend so much a long time. And honestly, you
giving in to the thoughts.
And you haven't even, we talk about God. But if your voice is so loud in your head, you can't even hear him. So you have to be able to spend some time, you know, purging yourself and allowing some goodness to come in and connect you.
That's good.
Yeah.
Final thoughts?
I got, okay.
Go ahead.
3 quick thoughts. Trust me. Number one, you won, I like to say you won the universal lottery, meaning that out of 14 million sperms, you decided to make it through here.
Come on now.
You're here. So if you're here, you're supposed to be here.
Yeah, got it.
Number 2 is this. Like, look at life like a chessboard, right? And there's multiple pieces. Everybody has a different role. Everybody understand their particular places. But if you're on a chessboard, that means you're here. You're supposed to be figuring out how to make your next move in life. So if you're here, you're here. Figure out your move and how to actually do it. Yeah. And then lastly, be okay with saying, look, I did everything that I could. And when your time is done, you're done. But don't take yourself out.
Wow. That's good. That's real good.
Anything?
I was just going to say, if anyone out there is watching and you really are just at a point, you don't even see value in what you do or who you are, or you're literally just, you feel like you're just a blank slate, I would just say give it to Jesus, because Jesus actually wants you even if you don't.
Wow. That's a great way.
You good, Diamond?
Just find your balance. You know, it's okay to, you know, take downtime for yourself, but also go out and connect with others, because you are loved.
All right.
And so final word from Brother Carter would be, you find yourself in the middle of a storm right now. Yes. If you live in Houston, we've been through many storms. Through the storms, because the sun will shine tomorrow. So remember that. Don't ever give in to the storm. You know, the storm going to come and it's going to go. We just going through it.
Oh, that's good.
So look forward to the sun shining.
That's real.
All right. God bless you. We love you, and we'll talk to you again. Talk to you again. This Brother Carter with the Tasteful. I almost said that other show. With Tasteful and Toxic. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you got something out of it that's helpful and useful to your life. God bless you.